Hello people, this is Aryan from Code Grind and I'm back with another video after a very long time. So for the past month I've been kind of busy, so couldn't be able to post any video. But meanwhile I posted 4 shorts. They are very informative about CSS margins, JavaScript tips and projects and a lot of them. So you can go watch them. They'll definitely help you out with stuff related to web development. But now in this video we'll be talking about 7 Chrome extensions that can be very helpful for any web developer. So let's have an overview of what we are gonna look into in this video. So first of all, we're gonna have a ColorPick Eyedropper, which is a very great extension for getting to know any color of a particular web page. Then we're gonna have a look into some dummy text generator extensions, some extensions which will help you look into the CSS of a particular website, and so on. So let's get straight into it. Now here is this web page based on Classmorphism, and we are going to test every one of our extensions in this particular web page. So I have a video in which I have created this particular web page, and here is the code for it. I'll give a link in the description for the video of this complete web page designing tutorial, as well as what is Classmorphism, which is a very trending UI design of this particular year. And you can also have a link of this pen, and you can look into the code of this web page. So now the first extension, as I told you, is gonna be the ColorPick Eyedropper. I'm gonna tell you how to install an extension, or rather I should say how to add an extension to your Chrome. So for that we'll need to visit the Chrome Web Store. So simply search for Chrome Web Store and click on the first link that you get. And over here you can search for many extensions which are available in the store. So I'm gonna search for ColorPick Eyedropper. So just type ColorPick and click on this suggestion. And here this is the very one, and over here you'll see the add to Chrome button. Click on it, select add extension over here, and here it is added to your list of extensions. You can also remove it from just clicking on this button. And now after clicking on this puzzle piece icon, you will see a list of extensions that you have already installed. I have had these 3 pre-installed, and now this is the one which we added right now. Click on this pin icon and it will be added to your quick access extensions. So if you use any extension on a very regular basis, then you can pin it, so it will be available for you at any time. Now let's see how to use it. So for using it, simply click on it and now hover over any part of your web page. It's taking a bit slow to load because it's the first time. Okay, now when you hover over any part of your web page, it will tell you about the color. So let's say if I hover over here, you see it tells me about the color. So it will give you a hex code, an RGB code, as well as a HSL code. So it's very handy. And now when I click, you can see it has been selected. I can press Ctrl C to copy it and paste in my text editor. Let's say I pressed Ctrl E, go to my editor and press Ctrl V. So here my hex code has been pasted. Now there are a lot of other things you can do with this. Over here is the history option, so you can view the history of whatever colors you have selected and searched for. And here is the generate palette. So click on this one, and here you can see we have got an options. Actually it's a menu kind of thing, and here you can generate a palette. So let's say if I select any one of this, let's say contrasting, and from here third plus darkness, click on generate, and here it will give me a palette based upon my options, the options I selected, and it can be helpful. But the main purpose I use it for is just getting to know about the color of a particular web page and nothing else. Yeah, so now let's move on to our next extension, which is the Fonts Ninja. So this is the Fonts Ninja extension we are looking for. I've already added it, and here you can see in my quick access toolbar. So now let's visit our page. Now here what you can do is simply click on this particular extension, and it might take some time to load because it's the first time. Just click on next, and start Fonts Ninja. Then whenever I hover over any part of my web page, you see it will tell me about the font of that particular, and not only the font name, it will tell you about the font width, which is regular in this case. Then it will tell you the font size, the line height, the letter spacing, as well as the color of that particular font. Now let's go to the HTML code, and over here if I add some dummy text, let's say this is code grind, and now when I hover over it, okay, I have to click on it again. Yeah, so now when I hover over this text, it will tell me that the font is Arial because I haven't specified any style for this particular font. So it is telling me that it has an Arial font with different font sizes and other properties. So this is how you can use the Fonts Ninja, and believe me, it is a very handy font whenever you visit a website and you really like the font of that particular website, but you don't know which font they are using. So this can be helpful. Now, there are obviously alternatives for any particular thing. So you can achieve the same thing using the inspect element of Chrome. So for starting the inspect element, you can right click and click on inspect over here, or you can also press the F12 key and the inspect element dialog box will appear. And over here, you can click on this arrow. Let me zoom it in. So you see this is the arrow, click on it and now select any element. So here you see if I hover over this element, it will tell me about the font of that particular element, so which is 16 pixel pop-in sans serif, and if I hover over this, it will tell me that it has Arial font. So there obviously are alternatives to everything, but I use Fonts Ninja because it has a better user interface, and yeah, that's the reason. So now let's move on to our third extension. So this is the third extension on the list, which is CSS Viewer for Google Chrome, and I've already added this. Here is the icon. Now let's go to our web page, and now whenever I click over this extension and click on start, now whenever I hover over any element, it will tell me about the details, the CSS properties which are used for that particular element. So let's say if I hover over this, it will tell me that it is a div with the class of navbar. So let me zoom it in. Yeah, so you see div.navbar, that means it is a div element with a class of navbar, and about font and text, it will tell you about every particular property, then color background, box, positioning, effects, and all such things. So believe me, it is a very great thing. Like if you visit a website, you really like the design of that website, but you don't know how to apply it in your particular website, so you can take the help of this extension. Okay, now let's move on to our next extension, which is the lorem ipsum generator. Now this is the lorem ipsum generator extension, and believe me, it is a very useful extension when it comes to creating websites. So like in the previous case only, when I needed to add dummy text over here, I needed some dummy text but I didn't have any. So for that, you just have to click on this extension, and over here it will give you sorry, not extensions, dummy text. You can modify it by selecting some things, like if you want 2 paragraphs, number of sentences you want in each paragraph, and when you click on it, it will auto select everything. Simply click on Control C, and over here, now instead of this text which I wrote myself, simply paste this one, hit save, and over here you see the dummy text has been applied. So believe me, it is a very useful one when you are working on a website and you want to see how a text will look on your web page. So just click on this extension and you will get the dummy text. Now as I said, there obviously are alternatives to everything, so we have alternatives for this as well. Now if you are working with emmet abbreviations, so emmet abbreviations, what are they? If you want to know about them, then you can watch one of my videos on a complete description about emmet abbreviations. These are actually short syntaxes which will help you write your HTML or CSS in a better way. Not only HTML, CSS, but other languages as well. So let's say if I want some dummy text over here, so I'll simply write lorem and the number of words I want. So if I want 20 words, I will write lorem 20, press enter, and it will give me 20 words. So VS Code supports emmet abbreviations, therefore I got this, and whichever text editor supports it, you will get the help of them. And there is another alternative, which is the website lipsum.com. So here when you visit the lipsum.com website, you will see a lot of dummy text. You can simply select it and copy whatever amount of text you want. So this was all about the lorem ipsum generator. Now let's move on to our next extension. So the next extension on the list is corporate ipsum. It is very similar to lorem ipsum generator, but unlike it, it doesn't produce some gibberish text which is completely meaningful. In corporate ipsum, we get text which actually has a meaning and is a very presentable form of dummy text. So you can select the number of words you want and it will give you the dummy text in that particular manner. Copy it and paste it in your editor like this, and if you read it, you can completely find out that it has got some meaning to all these sentences. So yeah, this was it about corporate ipsum. Now let's move on to our next extension. So the next extension on the list is our Windows Resizer extension, and it is a very useful extension if you're working with responsive designs and you want to see how your web page will look on other devices such as a mobile phone, a tablet, or a desktop. So here it is, and when I click on it, it will give me some already set presets. So if I click on any one of these, let's say this one, which is resolution of an iPad, it will resize my window to this particular size which I have selected. And over here in the settings, you can go and you can change all of these things, which is the icon style and all. But the main thing which you can do here is go to the presets option and edit any preset which you won't need. Most probably the one thing which you'll be using is this create a new preset, and over here you can specify some custom width and height, select the icon, name your particular resolution. Let's say if you want to see how this extension will look on your device, then you can save a preset based upon the resolution of your device and click on save preset. That's it. And here is the hotkeys option, so you can select hotkeys for 10 presets as well as for some other things like show extension, pop-up, and all of these things. So you can set shortcut keys for them and work with them on a very quick access basis. So this was it about the Windows Resizer. And one thing which I forgot to tell you is the alternative. So as I have told you about alternatives to other extensions, there is obviously an alternative to this as well, and it is provided to us by the browser itself. It is available on, or I think, almost every browser. I haven't tested it, but I have seen it in Microsoft Edge and as well as in the Chrome. So click on inspect, and over here you can see this mobile icon, mobile tablet, which is a toggle device toolbar. Click on it, and over here you can see we have got different options. Here in the drop down you can see there are presets for different devices. Click on it and it will change the resolution of your screen. You can also have custom resolutions. So here you can click on this responsive option and select the width and the height. You can also edit these presets, like there are a lot of devices over here. You can select which ones you want in your list. You can also add a custom device by clicking on this add custom device button and filling out all of these fields. So actually you don't need this Windows Resizer that much if you're working in Chrome or Microsoft Edge, because it provides you by default. So yeah, this was it about this extension, and now let's move on to the last extension on the list. So this last extension is Keyframes, and believe me, it will save a lot of your time when you are working with CSS animations. Now we know what kind of an animation we want, but we don't know, actually we know how to write the code as well, but writing CSS animation code is kind of a hectic thing in a very lengthy process. So this extension will help you out in this particular thing. So clicking on this extension, it will ask you to select any element which you want to animate. So let's say if I want to animate this image, I will click on it, and over here I will get a lot of options. So this is the timeline for 0% to 100%, and here you get all the properties, CSS properties. Here you can change the time of the animation, the infinitely, or you want it to be just one time or what. Then here is the animation delay and this animation speed. So now let's say for me the timer is here at 0%, and let's say if I want to animate this image, like I want it to scale from 0 to 1. So from 0 to 50% I want it to scale from 0 to 1, and then from 50% to 100% I want it to go back. So it will zoom in and then it will zoom out. So at initial level I want its scale to be 0, then I will move my timer to 50%. Okay, so here is 50%, and here I want its scale to be 1, and then at last at 100% I want its scale to be 0 again. So yeah, I have applied this whole animation at 0%, at 50%, at 100%, and now when I click on start animation, you see the desired animation has been appeared, and since it's infinite, it's occurring on a loop basis. And now when you want the code for it, you can simply click on show output CSS, and here you will get the code. The code is not visible, and the reason for that is over here in my CSS I have the body color as white, and now if I change it to black, so here you will be able to see the CSS code, and you can simply copy it and paste it in your code, and you will be able to get the CSS animation for that particular element you want to animate. And here you get a lot of CSS properties such as colors and font, size, spacing, box and shadow, border and shadow. So you can practically animate anything in any manner and you will get the code of it without working very hard to get it. So what are these extensions for? Obviously for reducing our time and efforts, and so we can write our code in a more efficient way. So these were the 7 extensions that I think are very useful for any web developer. And if you like the video, then don't forget to hit the like button so that I'll be more encouraged to create a part 2 of this Chrome extensions video. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more such amazing tips and tutorials on CSS and JavaScript. And also do watch my shorts. They are very informative and will definitely help you out if you are a beginner web developer working on HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So thank you for watching.